Hi everyone, my name is Hila Fish and I'm going to talk to you about incident management. So when I was in high school, the common belief was that if you'll actively listen in class, you'll have 50% of the exam prep already in your pocket. I want to show you how I converted this belief to an actual proactive approach that you could take that will help you manage incidents more efficiently in a more structured way and eventually preserve your much needed hours of sleep. So a little bit about me. I'm Hila Fish. I'm a senior DevOps engineer and SRE currently working at Wix. I have 15 years of experience, which means a lot of production incidents. I'm a fan of the DevOps culture. I'm a co-organizer of the DevOps Days in Tel Aviv, in Israel, and Statcraft Israeli Convention. And I'm mentoring in Ops School, which is an Israeli DevOps course, and Ba'ot, which is a women in tech community in Facebook and LinkedIn. And in my spare time, as you can see in the picture, I'm a lead singer in a cover band. So let's talk a bit about incident management, the intro of it. So what is it? It's a set of procedures and actions taken to resolve critical incidents. So it's actually an end-to-end process that defines how incidents are detected and communicated, who is responsible to handle them, what tools are used for investigation and response, and what steps are taken for resolution. So in order to really think about incident management, we need to really reframe our perspective to have a business mindset, because actually, incidents are about the business and the business success. So the mindset is really needed to grasp the overall impact of incidents and to mitigate the damages. So actually, there are two kind of options for incident management. Either putting out fire ad hoc process, which means actually no process, or structured one, right? So putting out files means no incident management setup process, which means that you could actually lose valuable data. Downtime could lead to reduced productivity and revenues, and the business could be held liable for breach of service level agreements. Some businesses have, 8 nines, 11 nines. So you really need to treat incident management with all seriousness. So that's why it should be a structured process, because a structured process could lead to incident prevention, to improved mean time to resolution, and eventually to cost reduction, since downtime was reduced or eliminated entirely. So let's talk a bit about the necessary qualities for incident management. So, of course, this is only a few. There are a lot of qualities and aspects of what you need to do in order to succeed in an incident management thing, but this is a few that I think that worth mentioning. So thinking on your feet. Sometimes the incident will be something that you're familiar with, and sometimes it will be something in an uncharted territory. You need to think on your feet and be ready for anything. And in order to practice it, you can participate in brainstorming sessions at work, because these kind of scenarios really ping pong kind of scenarios, which really improves this ability. Differentiate between relevant and non-relevant information. So I was participating in a lot of incidents in which people talked and talked and talked, and I'm like, guys, what you're saying is not relevant for the incidents, and it doesn't really progress us to the actual resolution. So please, let's focus on what's important. And basically, the more you know how a system works, the more your ability to separate the relevant from the non-relevant information increases. Operation under pressure. So I had an incident. I was new at work, and my team member was, I think, 3 years there, something like that. And we had an incident, a lot of alerts, and I'm like, okay, what can we do? How do we start? What should we check? And then I look at this guy, and then I saw him like this, like, so many alerts. Oh my God, so many alerts. I'm like, dude, come on, snap out of it. Snap out of it, because it doesn't help us, right? So stress is a symptom of being out of control. Collection of relevant data will help you decrease stress level, because when you know what to do, you're in control. So in general, you should keep a cool head. You should snap out of the uncertainty cloudiness, like I just mentioned now, And when it comes to multiple participants incidents, you should make others feel at ease as well. Methodical work. So time is of the essence, and there is pressure to solve things fast. Methodical work will help you gain faster incident resolution. Be humble. So a lot of people, or maybe not a lot, but there are some people that says that incident management are their time to shine. But I disagree. I think that if you don't know how to solve an issue, then you should be humble and ask for help, because actually your time to shine will not be in a way that you will handle the incident yourself and be technical enough to say, hey, this guy or girl, or they are very good at their jobs and very technical, but they can really say, okay, I don't know what to do. I'll take a step back and then I'll escalate the incident as needed, because this is how you will shine. If you will make the incident get resolved faster, this is your way to shine, because you have the business interest in heart. Problem solver. So if you have the whatever needed and a can-do approach, then you can basically do anything, and it doesn't matter what will happen. You will know what to do. Sense of ownership and initiative. So let's say in continuous to the problem solver, you had to escalate to someone, right? If you escalated and then someone else is taking care of it, great. But hey, you need to make sure that they are on it, right? Because if not, then it's a problem. And you need to make sure that you are the one that is on call. And that's why you need to have an end-to-end kind of an approach to things, and make sure that if someone is escalation was needed, then they are on it and really taking care of things. And that's why you should also have a good communication skills, because you need to explain the issue to others helping out, or you need to communicate the issue for escalation purposes. So communication is very important, but even if you don't know how to communicate properly, or you don't know what is expected of you, then communication guidelines can be established. It can be established that what channels should be used, what content is expected in those channels, how communications should be documented. So even if you don't know what to do, these guidelines can be set up, and then you will know exactly what is expected from you to be communicated. And then eventually you have leading without authority. This is something that is most crucial in a war room scenario, when you have a couple of people involved. So if you're nice and you're confident and you make people feel at ease and project and everything under control, kind of a facade, then people will listen to you and follow your lead. Okay, so there are key questions. Okay, let me say it that way. We talked about incident management that could be a structured process, right? So let's make it structured. So these are the key questions that you can ask yourself during an incident, that in that way you can make the process structured and then achieve better, handle it better. So there are 5 pillars. I will address each one. Incident identification and categorization. So do I understand the full extent of the problem? If so, great, I should dive right in, or maybe notify people. But if not, I should gather more information. Can this issue wait and be handled in business hours? If you're not sure, then ask. Better to be safe than sorry. Use the information that you've gathered. Escalate to someone if need be. Was I notified about the incident from the proper expected channel? But if not, then add a note to self to fix that, because you want to make sure you get the escalation from the proper channels like OpsGenie or PagerDuty, and not from a user, for example, that reported an issue. Second pillar is incident notification and escalation. So who should be notified about this issue? There are 2 routes, one during the incident and one in general. So during the incident, you need to decide by incident importance. So if the incident is really crucial, then maybe you need to escalate to someone that will communicate the issue to customers, external customers, like customer success or support teams. So you need to decide based on the importance of the incident. And in general, maybe you work with other teams that care about the system you're touching and they want to know what's happening with it. So you need to keep them posted about systems health and status. Investigation and diagnosis. So what information is relevant towards incident resolution? You should, as I said, relevant and non-relevant information, you should focus on what's important and what's relevant, because if not, then it will throw you off from the actual thing that you should do. Did I find the root cause? Do I understand the root cause? If so, awesome. Then now possible remediation steps can be determined. But if not, you should investigate more and maybe even do an escalation if it takes long to investigate. As I said, be humble. If it takes you a lot of time to investigate, then ask for help and make it faster. And also, you should always prioritize root causes over surface level symptoms. So if you have alerts about the server being restarted 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you don't just go to the server and start the service in order to make the alert go away. No, you need to make sure why the restarts happening from the beginning, right? You need to expose the underlying issue. Resolution and recovery. So which possible remediation step is the best one to take? Maybe after investigation, you know the root cause and you have maybe several possible solutions to choose, right? So which one should you choose? In my opinion, it should be the fastest solution to eliminate downtime without compromising the system's health and stability. Because, hey, you want it to be fast because you want to go back to sleep maybe, but the system stability is more important in that case. So you need to think about the system health and not your hours of sleep at the meanwhile. Any action items are needed after resolving the issue. So let's say the solution that was taken was a patch, and the management, you escalated it to management. They said, yeah, we're okay with doing a patch at that moment. All good, but permanently fix the issue. Make sure the issue gets fixed permanently, because if not, again, the system will suffer from it, and maybe the issue will reoccur, and preventing it will be a top priority. The 5 and last pillar is incident closure. So do I need to notify anyone on the incident resolution? Because if I notified someone at the beginning, I should also notify someone at the end of the incident, because we want to make sure that they now know that the system got back to the usual state and they expect it to be okay. Were alerts okay, or do they need tweaking? Maybe I had false positives or not exactly what I had planned to get, so maybe it should get addressed as well. Is a relevant incident runbook in place? Is it outdated or needs updates? So incident runbook is a procedure that you write, usually when the incident involves complex steps to be taken. So this happened. If it happens, then we need to check this. But if that happened, we need to check this and that. And it's usually a level of steps, manual steps that you need to check and judgment to be made in order to solve the issue. So in that case, if an incident runbook is not available and you could create one, then create one. But if it is available, make sure it's updated, because maybe during the incident you found out some new things and the incident needs to be updated. Can I help prevent similar incidents from reoccurring? So if so, open a task about it. Maybe you found some information that you thought about, hey, if I'll do this and that, I can prevent other stuff from happening. So if so, please open a task about it. Does this incident require post-mortem? If so, then jot down the notes ASAP while it's still fresh in your mind, because there was a study conducted by Bluma Zygarnik, who's a Russian psychologist. She found that we remember more details during an ongoing scenario rather than upon their completion. So in favor of a better post-mortem process, write the notes as soon as possible. And even if post-mortem is not needed, then share the knowledge anyway, through a runbook or through a daily brief, because everyone can learn from it. A little bit about war room conduct. So a war room is when you have more than 2 or 3 people involved in an incident. So it's a lot of people that needs to handle usually a critical case, a critical incident. So in that case, incident manager is something that should be available in a war room, because it's very, very important. I will give you an example. I was new in another job, and there was an issue in AWS, something very crucial. And there was a war room scenario that created, and I was part of it, just listening it, and then I saw that people just talking, and he taking it to that, taking this lead, he's talking about this, he's talking about that, but no action items, and they're just getting lost, and nothing really is happening, and the resolution is it feels like it's very far away and nothing really progressing. So I then took the lead and I said, guys, even though I was new at that job, I would say, guys, it feels like nothing is happening. And then I just, leading with authority, I told them, hey, you please check the logs. You please write a procedure that explains how to start the application in the right process, because if not, then it will create new problems, right? So please write the procedure during everything, so we will have a better, runbook to rely on. So I handled the situation, and then stuff really started to get along and progress towards a resolution. So an incident manager should divide the work, tell people what to do. He or she or they should be calm and collected, see things clearly. They shouldn't be afraid to reduce people's involvement if it's not doesn't serve the purpose. So if someone was invited to the war room to do ABC, and then the ABC was done, so go away, because too many people, it's too noisy. It should be kept minimal and dynamic. Okay, so how can we do better? So I promised you that the proactive approach, that if you'll do it, then things will look better and you will be able to manage incidents better, right? So what is the proactive approach that you can do in order to have a better incident management process? So after the fact, after an incident finished, these are the things that you can do. On-call shifts handoffs. I'm not sure it's something that's happening in each company, but it actually means that, let's say I've finished a shift, I need to summarize the main issues that I had, the main alerts maybe, or the main issues, and what I did to solve them. If something was reoccurring, I need to mention it. If something I did a patch and we need to revisit it, I need to mention it as well. So it's something that really is a summary of my shift. And then it will help the next person in the shift to handle things, because if they will have the next an incident that is similar to what I did, they will achieve better and faster resolution, because I already encountered it, and maybe they also need to make sure it doesn't happen again if it's recurring or not. So on-call shifts handoffs are very important for audit purposes, but also to make your team members succeed. You want to help them succeed in their shifts and help them achieve a better response rate as well. Post-mortem notes, as I said, just write them down as soon as possible. New tasks, if you identified new tasks that can be done to prevent the next incident or to make the environment more stable, then open them. Modify alerts, fix false positive or tweak alerts that needed to be tweaked in order to have a better and accurate scenarios. But please don't wait for the next on-call to do it, because maybe they will wait for the next one and they will wait for the next one, and then it will never happen. So please do it yourself. Incident runbooks, as I said before, it's very, very important. Write them down, and even if a runbook is available, then edit it to make it updated. Automation. So did you identify maybe candidates for self-remediation? Awesome. Then automate it, and then stuff will just get handled by their own through the self-remediation process. And if you handled an issue, then share the knowledge more in depth than in an on-call shift handoff, because the handoff should be very simple, very precise. But through a knowledge share of an incident management process that you did, people can learn from your line of thought, how you approach things. They can really learn from it and learn from your experience. So it's something that is a blessing for everyone. And so we talked about the proactive approach about after the fact, after an incident. What can we do on our day-to-day basis in order to be better in incident management? So it's something that we can do on our day-to-day that will actually help us during incidents. So these are the key metrics. Escalation and point of contacts. So you probably support several services at work, right? You know the needed pieces of information related to your realm. For example, my realm is infrastructure, so I know what needs to be done in my side. But you should also know what other realms as well have to understand the full picture. So let's say there's an issue with X. I've checked my side of things. I don't see any issue, but hey, I know that Jerry is the one that is handling X from the side of the code. So I should escalate to him to check things on his end. So identifying services escalation points on a day-to-day basis and not only ad hoc when incident occurs will save time and money on incident management and also save someone else's hours of sleep. Because let's say you don't know who's handling X, you need to now wake up your team leader, your team builder, someone needs to wake up and say, hey, are you responsible for X? Yes, no. And then you interrupted their sleeps and also you wasted time on the incident management process while you could have the information up front and just go along with it. So it's something very, very important. Separate the wheat from the chaff. So separate the crucial from the non-crucial scenarios. So it's very easy for me to just lay low and deal with my own tasks. But hey, production doesn't deal with only my tasks, right? And only my changes. Production also has my other team members' tasks and changes. So I need to really be aware of what my other team members are doing in order to really have a full grasp and the full extent of production changes and impacts. Okay, so I need to get involved and be aware of the latest changes that could rock the boat and could affect production environment. Also, I need to learn application flows. So you remember at the beginning business impact. So if I know application flows, it can help me understand if this thing could wait for tomorrow for business hours. It could help me understand what's the business impact. It could help me to understand who's the escalation point. So it really is important for the whole scenario. On-call shift handoffs, I mentioned it before, but in here I want to specify something else. Don't just write it yourself and don't just read the other one before you, the one that had the shift before you, his or she's or their handoff. Read the entire handoffs, right? Because handoffs are the summaries of what's happening in production while you're not there. And production is under your responsibility, right? So you want to make sure you are fully aware of everything that's going on in production. So please read it all. It wouldn't take a lot of time, I promise. It's just a summary. Deployment and changes in prod. So also ask, even if you're not the one that's doing the deployments or doing the actual changes, ask about the changes and the possible impact, because I can assure you, Ops Genie or PagerDuty doesn't care if you didn't do the actual change yourself. It will call you anyway if you're on call. So please be aware of what's happening. And a bonus, be a go-to person, because as they say, if you build it, they will come. If you're someone, if you're a key member, then people will come to you and ask for your advice and tell you the updates from their own initiative, and then you'll get push notifications, okay? And it will decrease your need to fetch the updates on your own. Okay, so to sum things up, if you want to talk the talk and walk the walk when it comes to incident management, have your qualities in check. If you know you're stressed out easily, then work on that. If you have other things that you can be better at, then work on that because it will help you later on. Make the process structured and take the proactive approach, as I just showed. Then you will come prepared to any incident that will cross your way and prevent the next incident from happening. And remember, less incidents means less downtime, means business success, and business success means your success. Plus, you get to preserve much needed hours of sleep. Thank you very much.